Hello, my name is Yemi and I would love to invite you to join me on the Japa Code. The Japa Code is your ultimate guide to legally migrating from Nigeria to your dream destination. If you desire to Japa, we've got you covered. We'll bring you expert advice and insider tips to help you navigate the routes, routes and resources required to make that dream a reality. Join me this Sunday at 5 p.m. on the Women Network on YouTube. The Japa Code is brought to you by Women Consults in partnership with the Migrant Resource Center, Federal Ministry of Labor and Employment. Good evening, everyone. Good evening. Good evening. Great to have you join us this evening. Happy Easter, everyone. All right. So I'm always having that. I think I must punch my face in now, like literally bring me on board. All right, there I am. Welcome, everybody. Thank you so much for joining in. My name is Yemi Awosoya Adefajan. I'm the host of the Japa Code. The Japa Code is brought to you by Wimo Consult in partnership with Migrant Resource Center, Lagos, Federal Ministry of Labor and Employment. Thank you so much for joining in. It's an awesome one this evening. A very interesting topic we're looking at based on trends, based on requests, based on demands out there, based on what a lot of people are hoping to know more about and be able to take informed decision. Of course, we're all about you not entering into the wrong hands and not doing the wrong thing. Provided you know what to do, you're able to take the decision. Decision should be left to you to take, really left to you to take. Of course, after looking at all the options. This is the Japa Code, the rules, the routes, and the resources required. Of course, you need to know what it is you're getting into. All right, you need to know what it is you're getting into. Yemi Awosoya here, and I'm delighted to be here. Today, we're looking at a very exciting topic, of course, addressing questions that has come up about care assistant jobs, care assistant route to for those who want to who qualify to migrate, qualify to Japa, as the case might be. So we're all about cracking the Japa code and putting power in your hands in terms of information. All right, so today I'm going to be looking at this topic. Again, welcome everybody to the show. Thank you so much for being here, joining us today. If you have anybody that should be part of this, should listen to this, please reach out to them, share the link. Of course, very important. Again, those of us who are you've been watching this episode for some time, thank you so much for joining us again. And for those who are new subscribers, please kindly click the subscribe button and then the notification button, and also like and share, because I know for certain there's one person or two persons out there who you are certain will benefit from this information. Please reach out to them. It's about you getting informed. And I will implore you, it's all about questions today. So you have questions. We have some questions we're going to throw, which basically just answers all that we have received as questions. But then if you have specific ones you would like to ask, please spend time, just click, write it up for us. Of course, we'll be able to answer you as we move on. Even if the show isn't live, we will still be able to answer your questions. All right, thank you so much. So we're going to go for a real quick break. And then just when we come back, I will delve straight into the topic of today. Right underneath in the on this network, we have a lot of other episodes that have been done. Great content. Great content. Just look through and just prepare to watch them. Maybe after this, spend some time to watch them so you are abreast of how far we have come. So much content we're sharing, so much content we're going to be doing. This is our second episode in this special month of April. It's a special April, and we have a lot of topics we want to talk about this. I will share more about it as we move on. And happy Easter, everyone. I think I said at the beginning, I will say it again, happy Easter, everyone. Just pray to God that the blessings and the intent, divine intent of the season abides with us all in the mighty name of Jesus. Thank you so much for your time. I'll be back in a little bit. Hello, my name is Yemi, and I would love to invite you to join me on the Japa Code. The Japa Code is your ultimate guide to legally migrating from Nigeria to your dream destination. If you desire to Japa, we've got you covered. We'll bring you expert advice and insider tips to help you navigate the routes, routes and resources required to make that dream a reality. Join me this Sunday at 5 p.m. on the Women Network on YouTube. The Japa Code is brought to you by Wimo Consults in partnership with the Migrant Resource Center, Federal Ministry of Labor and Employment. Thank you so much for joining us again. So I'm going to be going straight into the topics of today. We're talking about the care assistants and what it's all about as a care assistant. So I'm just reading out some questions and I will respond to those questions based on the questions that a lot of people have been asking. And so we're going to start immediately. What's the care worker route all about? What is that route all about? Now, of course, it's dependent on the understanding, of course, by governments all over the world. The season happens to be such that there's a lot of gap in the healthcare system abroad, in the UK, US, Europe, all of that. So a lot of countries abroad are looking for people in other countries who would be interested in coming to take up those kind of jobs. Now, they've always been there. I know people got a job in healthcare since 2019, 2018. So it's not current. But the advent of COVID, and of course, a lot of issues happening. In the UK, you have the Brexit issues and all of that. So there's so many things that all of this situation has brought to the fore, and so there's a lot of issues that I need to solve, and that now brings, of course, care. It's not the only one. There's so many other sectors that are trying to bring people in into their country to do stuff. According to the WHO, the rules is that there are some countries on the red list who are countries, the advanced countries, if I can say the word, countries of the Western world are not allowed to directly recruit from. But again, the emphasis of the direct recruitment is for them to come into the country like Africa and begin to tell people, come and join our country using them. I mean, they come in themselves. But again, that's so they understand that. So a lot of all these countries are not allowed to do that. I mean, there was a time in this country when we had even, Saudi Arabia come in for doctors and all of those kind of things. So it happens. But now they're not allowed to do that. But again, if as an individual, you are disposed and you have the qualification, I think you can apply by yourself to get the job, hey, why not? So all that kind of route is allowed for people to do. And so by the standard of the governments across the world, for those who are in need of the service, some of the restrictions, hurdles, as it were, attached to such visas have been, reduced, relaxed a little bit, so that whoever is interested, who meets the requirements, can always come on board. And that is what has been presented. So now there's that opportunity. Now, for those people who can come in there, of course, you have opportunities. If it depends on the job you get a 2 years, 3 years, 5 years visa, depending on the strength, of course, the visa limits of the employer that is employing you. So fundamentally, this route is open to anybody who is interested in, picking up that job in those countries. And of course, like we said, fundamentally, you have to make sure you meet the requirements. So you're able to go there. The job is for people to come to the country and fit the role advertised, which is care worker roles, if you're interested in that, a care worker role. So you come in through that route to get in there. Now, all the requirements, so there's a need of the employer, which is now a care home or a nursing home, whatever home is, social home, whatever it is. So for those people to apply, so they have rules, they have their own requirements. And of course, if you're going to apply through the embassies, of course, you're coming through the embassies, you also have the embassy, the home office requirements, the government's requirements, depending on the country you're going into. Now, each of them have their requirements, and you have to meet them for you to be able to get the job, and of course be granted a visa to go resume the job at the other end. So that is the route. It's open to those who are qualified, those who can move, who can do that, and it's open to all of them, as many who are interested in doing that. Okay, so now currently it started, the UK version of it started last year, January, February, thereabout, when it was open that look, for those who are international applicants who are interested, can always. Now, by the end of this year, start of this year, of course, modifications were done to that rule as well, allowing more funding, as it were, to the employers and all the other structures attached to such industry to be able to help more people who are interested, help pushing the effect of them doing the processing themselves. That's care home now, running the process themselves, looking for people themselves, bringing them in, integrating them into the system. So many things are involved in that process. A lot of things are involved in that process. And so the government is coming to reinforce their commitment to helping them solve the problem. You know, most of these things, when you have challenges in sectors, governments respond by creating policies to support the sector so that the sector moves freely and as expected. And so these are things that are properly structured, documented, and that can help that the government created to help the system. And of course, the system now begins to look for who to come in and what to do. So the care worker route is open, is there. For those who are interested, who are qualified, you need to just be qualified, of course, and then apply and you get the job done. So that's what the care worker route is all about. So moving on, I'm interested, but I don't have any work experience. Invariably, you are talking about being qualified. Now, what does it mean to be qualified? Very simple, really. Two parts that get you qualified. Number one is to have been trained. You must be trained. Qualifications are in two forms. You must be trained. The second one is you must have the work experience. Now, I will explain this. You see, the care worker route is not entirely new to us. You know, like I say to a lot of people concerning our continent here, we don't target like that because we really don't, you know, the structures are not rightly directly there. But we've always been taking care of our elderlies. I mean, a lot of us have our parents, aged parents living with us. Some will go visit them, you stay with them for some time. That's all work experience, really. That's all work experience. Although there's something else that work experience is required of. So you have two things. Number one is the training. Now, the training exposes you to the basics of care as the countries you're going to are interested in it. Their codes, their conducts, their processes, their structures, a lot of things are going to care. A lot depends on that care. I say to a lot of people, the structure of care, it goes at you are the last man standing with the person requiring the care. It could be an aged person, it could be somebody recuperating, it could be somebody in a nursing home, it could be a child, it could be anybody that requires a support system, requires a support for them to live their life. There's so much involved in care that if you have no work experience and if you are not trained, believe me, guys, you're definitely going to mess it up. I will tell you that for free. You're going to mess it up. So it's important that you get qualified. Now, it's open to anybody who has a heart for it, who has a desire for it. Even if you're coming from whatever industry, you want to have a switch of career, you want to change, it's allowed. Anybody can change career. It's a normal thing. So you want to change career, you want to move on to something else, it's okay. This is open to everybody. All that is required is that somebody who studied Yoruba in school, ending up working in the bank. All you need to do is to brush up and switch into another career and come into a banking system. You're allowed to do that. Life is not, your passion. Your passion is important. So if you're passionate about something, get the requirements and you enter into the space. So anybody can join this, anybody can get qualified. Like I said, there are two parts of it. Number one is your training. You must be trained. You must be trained. The basic level of training are 15 care standards. There are 15 of them, topics spread across the whole spectrum of care. Whether you're caring for a child, caring for an adult, caring for somebody recuperating, doesn't matter. Across board, that's the 50. It's a fundamental, the minimum. If anybody tells you otherwise, I know what you have the experience, just come like that. You're going to be still going for that training. You're going to go for that training because that's where you learn the code of conduct. I have a lot of people who have come and said, you know what, I just got here, I want to just do my work experience and I'm qualified. They know you are not qualified. For your sake and the sake of the person you're going to be caring for, you are not qualified. So get the training. You must be exposed to the training, literally training. Sometimes the training can be theoretical. Most of the time it's theoretical. Some other people organize the training as classroom experience. Okay, but then the training is fundamentally online. Training online. It's one thing, of course. Women Council is able to help with that. I'll talk about that later on. So you must be qualified, which means you have the work experience, you have the training and the work experience. Now, the work experience bit of it is an interpretation of the training and your own integration of what you have learned and how you interpret it. There are real life, we know training is not the same thing as work experience. There's a different, there are different levels. The work experience allows you to be faced with challenges, realities. How do you respond? Of course, the benchmark of response is always from the training. So you have the work experience. At the end of that work experience, you're expected to have a reference letter. I mean, you're moving from job to job. We know defaultly, there's always going to be a reference. Somebody needs to know that truly, yes, you have been through this, you have an idea, you have a knowledge of what is required where you're going. So you need a work experience, all right? So that's the thing. If you're interested, all you need to do is ensure that one, you're trained, and the second part of it is that you have the work experience required. Okay, now what are the requirements needed? What are the requirements needed? All right, so now for you to apply for the job, like I said, you need to have a work experience. You also need to have the training. Those two fundamentals allows you to be able to knock on the door of a care home or a care home or a nursing home or even a hospital as a healthcare assistant. You're allowed to knock on the door because you have those two things. Now, based on the need of the care home or the nursing home, whichever one it is you find, based on their needs, they now tell you what exactly they will require. But the minimum is the following things. There are not so many people who got across to some care home that showed interest in them only for them to tell them, they came to tell them, you know what, we need to take this course, that course, that course, so that you're exposed to the kind of care that we render in our own establishment. And it's expected. When you even get onto the job, there's always the training process. They're going to train you again anyways, so you can know how they operate. Know their own company's individual code of conduct is required. So you must have those two things. Now, beyond that one, then requires the basic for you to get through. And this list I'm going to give to you is just as it is on gov.uk. You can get that information right there. The list of requirements for you to apply for a job, which of course extended to a visa. So that's a care visa, a skilled worker visa, that is. Now, what do you require? When you have the work experience, when you have the when you have the training and the work experience, you are able to get the employer to be interested in you. Now, the employer will ask you for the police character. This fundamental, they need to be sure. Outside of the country, they call you, some they call it the DBS search and all of that. They want to be sure that you have no criminal record. So you have to go to the police headquarters. For those in Lagos, Alagbon is the most recommended. You go there, get officially document that says that you have no criminal records. All right, you need that. Then you have to also get you also have to get some care homes. Now, this is the thing. There are fundamental three kinds of cares. You have the living carer, where you live in with the clients or with the patient, you live in the same home. The person needs round-the-clock care. You live in there, all the things that you need at their accommodation. Of course, you're going to be living with the person and you care for the person. There are people who need round-the-clock care. You need to be there with them to work with them, be around them all the time. Whenever they need you, you get up and respond. So you have that. You have those who are in care homes. Now, those in care homes, they clock in, they clock out. Maybe 15, 20 people in a care home, depending on how large the care home is really. It might just be 2 of you or 3 of you per shift, depending on the care home. So you're there within that period, you're caring for them and so on. Now, you also have those who are in domiciliary care. Now, some domiciliary care, those people who come into the home every day to care for the residents of the home. And of course, afterwards, you go back based on your shift and all of that. Now, all these 3 I've mentioned, there are some other ones that, of course, depends on the need of the companies, are fundamental, and they have different requirements, different levels of requirements. And for those who are in dumb care, most of them would ask you for an international driver's license, in which case you have to have a driver's license. Locally, you have the license. Here we have a normal license, and then we now have the international driver's license, which you have to acquire. When you get to the UK or the other countries you're going into, you would be required to get their own local driver's license. So you must prepare to also go through that process. They will need that from you. Of course, we know, very important, you cannot leave Nigeria and go to another country without a means of taking care of yourself. Even though you're going to pick up employment, you have to have a means for taking care of yourself within the first at least 1 month of you being in that country. It's fundamental. I mean, it's a list of thinking, of thought pattern. So you must get yourself ready to apply to get what we call a proof of fund. Is part of the requirement. Now, for you as an individual, all this I'm giving you as information are right there on the gov.co, gov.uk. You can get this information. It is accessible to everybody or anybody. All right. So what you require for the proof of fund is funding for you to rent a house, not living on the system. Rent a house for yourself and pay your bills while you're in that house, and of course your movement around, your feeding within the first 1 month. It is estimated at £1,270 for the UK. £1,270 for the UK for a single applicant. That amount of money must be in your account for not less than 28 days. Must be in your account for not less than 28 days. All right, so you must have that money there. And then if you are coming with dependent, now this also brings to the question of dependents. You have not more than 5. Not more than 5. I mean, beyond 5 is a lot of strain on you or your spouse, really. But, Africa, they want you to know where. Our harem is full of them. Okay, glory to God. All right, so you have each of the dependents has its own amount that you must also have connected to you. The amount for, if you're going for 5, average is what you must have in your account should not be within 2 million to 2.5 million. Must be seated in your account untouched for 28 days. Untouched for 28 days. That speaks volume. So that when you get there, you have money to rent your apartment, you have money to feed, you have money to take care of yourself, pending the time your income would come in. As a care assistant, the minimum you have, as I spoke about this last Sunday when we had the episode talking about the countries of the world and what are the amount, the funding, the amount you can get for each of the jobs. I mean, if you haven't, if you're just joining us now, I plead you just go watch on the previous episode. You would learn some about that. All right, so for the care assistant, you have a minimum of about £1,700 that you make per annum, and of course a maximum of about 22,000 per annum. I mean 1,700 per month, and it goes all the way to that amount. But again, so that amount, you making that as an income over 8 hours per day is not enough to sustain you and 5 children. So I mean, 4 kids, as the case might be, and that's what the expectation is. You have a partner that can come with you. The partner can work normal full-time, all right, can work full-time and apply for a job as his own field is. And that allows you as a family to have another extra income coming in, of course, on the same rent. You're not renting 2 different houses. On the same rent, feeding, of course, we increase the bill. Tax, of course, most of you will pay your tax. And of course, your bills also be managed by both of them. But you have a better chance of scaling through and start upscaling based on that. All right, so you have the POF also required. So the first thing I mentioned is if you're live with me, just type in what you think I'm talking about so that I can also know we are together on this. All right, so the first thing you have, like I said, you must be qualified. Very important. Training and the work experience. The training will give you a certificate, very critical. And the second, the work experience will give you a reference letter saying that you have been through it formally and they like what you've done. You're a great guy. You can do the job well, and a great guy or great girl, and all of that. So it's all in the letter. And afterwards, you now get your maybe you get your police character. Very important. You must go to the police station. The headquarters, Alagbon section. You can go there and get your police character that will be given to you. And of course, you go to get your proof of fund, your international driver's license. Because again, if you're doing domiciliary care, I usually just say to anybody who's casting his net wide, get it and can it. When the time comes, of course, if you need it, you pay. If you don't need it, fine. I mean, you got the license anyways. And of course, you have the proof of fund. Then the next thing would be when you're ready to fly, you have your TB test, very important as well. You get that done to be sure you're TB free. All right, so you get that done as well. That's there's so many sections, so many sectors. I mean, states in the nation that they have such tests being done. And also now there's a very important part of it is the test of English. A lot of people, it's not compulsory that you must do IELTS. It's not compulsory. If you are a graduate, you don't need to do IELTS. You could take your transcript, of course, from the school directly to the system, to the NARIC or ECTIS system, as the case is now. You take your transcripts there, load it up, and then, of course, you get a conversion that speaks to the band of English level that you are. All right. And then if you're doing the IELTS, you go take the IELTS test. It gets you, of course, practicals, you use computer or use written, and then it gets you the result, band level. Now, for care assistants, the minimum required band level is about 4.5 to 5. Band 4.5 or 5 depends on the requirement. So, but it's not less than, maybe it's say 4.55. That's what is required. Now, if you're a graduate, I beg, don't fall my hand. I trust that you're going to hit more than 4.5. Now, a lot of people come in and say, IELTS is tough, IELTS is difficult, IELTS is not created to be tough or difficult. It's just an assessment, a test. All right. So what you need to do is to follow the rules, follow the requirements, do the requirements. No, it's not jacking. We're used to jacking in this country. It's not about jacking. You're already speaking the English. But if the rule says you have to show it in a particular style and format, all you need to go do is learn the style and the format. That's all you need to do. All right. Don't put yourself under immense pressure, immense tense pressure. I have people who have come and said they want to do, and I tell them, this is what I told them, this is what you need to do. Just get the understanding of the process, what they need from you, then deliver what is required. There's a consciousness to the English language you speak. It's not just about, a lot of people, it's not about all the so many, that's not what it is. The more fluent you are, the more control you have of the language, the better for you to scale the IELTS. And that's just basically it. So don't get under pressure. Practice, and of course you will get the great uni. Like I said again, they require just 4.5 or band 5. Don't aim for band 5. You can't even get band 5 except you're not serious about it. So you're going to get higher than that band, definitely. All right, so I'm going to move forward right now. Before I do, we're going to take a word from our sponsor, from the Migrant Resource Center, to give off a word. I'll be right back after this message.
The National Electronic Labour Exchange is a unit in the International Labour Migration in the Employment and Wages Department of the Federal Ministry of Labour and Employment. The centers are information hubs for the public to meet demands of employment, referral, labor rights, recruitment advice, support, and all employment-related issues, with the aim of educating and enlightening the public on workplace and employment issues, as well as ensuring protection and decent work. Our target audience are students, all categories of migrants, and the general public. For more details, email us on jobcenterlagos@gmail.com. You can also follow us on Facebook, a National Electronic Labour Exchange, YouTube, a National Electronic Labour Exchange.
Right, thank you so much, Thomas. Thank you so much. The Migrant Resource Center in Lagos is located at Ikoyi, just by the entrance before you get to the passport office. I usually say that everybody going to get the passport should pass through the Migrant Resource Center first before you go get the passport, so you can have the information that you require from them. This program is a partnership with the Migrant Resource Center in Lagos, Federal Ministry of Labor and Employment. All right, so I'm talking about, the next thing I want to talk about is, how do I get a job how do I get a job after becoming qualified? How do I get a job after becoming qualified? There's so many people who are trying to get this kind of jobs. Qualified people we have from all the way from high up there, matrons, nurses, not necessarily coming to care assistants, but care industry in the UK, upscale, up knowledge, up base, and all of that. So you have those, of course, you have people who are changing profession, who are coming from whatever industry they're in, and they want to do care, they want to work in care. I've been trained as a carer, so I have a lot of people that we work with who, by the time I relate with them, the way they ran the process, the way they responded to the work experience, it's quite exciting. I just love their passion, love their fire. And the truth about it is that where I work, in the care home I work, it's just so extraordinary when you see people responding to care for the elderly. These are now those care now, responding to care for the elderly, and they're just there constantly. They're helping out, helping them to live the life they love to live. Care work is not a joke. Care work is not a walk in the park. Care work is not just the fact that you used to live with an elderly person. That means you don't care. No. I have a lot of people really, who have their parents, very, very aged parents with them. And, by the time they're talking to you, It's just a lot of complaint. And, but one thing you must understand, care is a very patient job, very, very patient job, very patient, very humbling, very, very humbling job. Right from when the adults, those in care who need the support, right from when they wake up all the way till, they go back to bed in the night, your job is active. You might be in night, you might be in day, whichever structure you're in. And so there's a lot depends on you as a carer. When the nursing crew comes in and they have questions, it's you, the carer, who is there with the patient, who is there with the person receiving the care, that has to respond. There are 4 or 5 sections, very important sections that you must be very, very careful about in care. I did say it's open to everybody, but in truth, not everybody can do care. If you don't have the heart for it, if you don't have the humility for it, if you don't have the endurance for it, of course, you don't have the passion for it, if you don't have the enthusiasm for it, the warmth for it, you would not survive in care, because it's a very, very, very empathetic job. You have people who have come into care, and right from the get-go, I just knew that this person, there's no way you can do this job. You're just going to cause a problem. And I have people, there are lots of videos out there, people who get into care, bringing their home issues, their challenges at home, their personal issues, and bringing it into the care home and transferring that aggression onto the vulnerable right there. It can be very, very terrible. So you have to be very, very careful. If you don't have the heart for it, you don't see yourself being able to run that. I'm talking of helping them, like I said, from wake up all the way to bed at night. And even while in sleeping, for those who have trouble sleeping easily, you have to be around them. You have to support them and so on. This is adult care. But when you have the children, you have children who need care. You have children who need care. You have adults who are recuperating. Those are all part of the vulnerables. And these people, you are directly responsible. I cannot overemphasize it. You're going to be directly responsible to them. If events happen, so the first thing, your qualification is very critical. Very, very critical. Your qualification is very critical. The second thing is your passion, your natural passion. I say to a lot of carers, those who say they want to do care, if you're not passionate about it, the next phase of the process, you're just going to mess it up, which is that you must bring your nature, your grace, if I can say that, you must bring it to the work. You have to show that you're capable. You have to show that you have it, you have what it takes to do it. So when you bring that into play, then you are uniquely you. And that's what every employer is looking for. Aside from, of course, the fundamental that you must learn. How do you play? How do you do the work? How do you respond to the care that is required? Of course, and again, very important is the element of documentation. Not a fly must pass by as a carer on duty that is not written down in your report. Very important, because that report, of course, is what is going to be used by the next person, by the medical team, of course, nursing and medical team, by your managers and the likes of them, by the care home you're represented, to be able to, 1, care for the person when you are not there. 2, be able to support the person when you are not there. 3, be able to defend you when you're not there. 4, be able to defend the care home itself when you're not there, because things happen. We're talking about lives here, so anything can go wrong. Of course, praying that everything goes right. But documenting allows you to be able to know what is happening. And if there needs to be a follow-up, if there needs to be a follow-up, a response to whatever has happened where nobody knew but you, it is your report that will be able to help them to be able to respond to you appropriately. The element of reporting, there's no option. It's part of the law. You must be able to report. You must be able to write down your report. You must be writing a report. Of course, another thing, of course, is a channel of communication. Channel of communication for incidents, situation that happen, all of that, you must be attuned to that. Excuse me. You must be attuned to that. You must know the channel of communication. whatever situation is happening, whatever circumstance is going on, you must be able to know how to report from you to your partner, to your colleagues, and colleagues all the way to the supervisors, all the way to the deputy manager, the managers, and of course, including the family members of the person you're responsible to. It's very, very critical. Care work is very, very important, very critical. If it's not just about this is the route to Japa, it's way beyond that, because when you do that, you get to the other end and then you're into a lot of trouble. And like a lot of things we're spoken about on this program is to help us to position us to be able to take effective, be able to take ideal decisions based on information. And if you have challenges with information, with knowledge as you should have, then it becomes a problem. All right, becomes a problem. So very important. We have to take note of that. I think I need to take some water. All right, based on that, you need to know how to respond to that. All right, so I've mentioned all of this so that we can all be attuned to what is. If you have any questions, please feel free to drop the questions. I'll be very much obliged to help you to answer them as they come in, answer them as they come in. Now, also important in the sequence is what is referred to as a care plan. There's nobody you're going to care for that does not have a care plan. What is the care plan? The care plan details the care required by that person. The things that are do's, don'ts, timing, food, all of that person. That's what a care plan is about. You must have a care plan for anybody you're coming to care for. It's not just your knowledge of, oh, this person is old enough, I know what to do with old people. No, this particular person might have a different requirement that you must know about. It's like you come into the hospital and the doctor comes and does not look at the bed notes of the patient, just goes, oh, patient, give it someone, give it. No, they have to look at that first, because that determines if there's progress, if there's advancement, if there's, of course, all of those things. With adult care, there's always, at some level, there's some medications that are supposed to be required, some kind of food they must eat, sometimes they must go out, exercises they must do, interactions they must have, depending on the care you're administering too. If you're doing, maybe the person you're caring for has dementia or Alzheimer's, depending on what the person has, you must know what the care plan be able to relate. Moreover, even your care home, your company would have told you what it is that you're supposed to be responding to. It's an awesome one. We're going to go for a quick break again, and when we come back, I'll tell you how we can help at WIMO Cons. And if you have questions, like I did say, please drop in your questions. Let's see how we can help answer them. All right, I'll be right back. Just one more second.
The National Electronic Labour Exchange is a unit in the International Labour Migration in the Employment and Wages Department of the Federal Ministry of Labour and Employment. The centers are information hubs for the public to meet demands of employment, referral, labor rights, recruitment advice, support, and all employment-related issues, with the aim of educating and enlightening the public on workplace and employment issues, as well as ensuring protection and decent work. Our target audience are students, all categories of migrants, and the general public. For more details, email us on jobcenterlagos@gmail.com. You can also follow us on Facebook, a National Electronic Labour Exchange, YouTube, a National Electronic Labour Exchange.
All right, awesome. Thank you so much for staying with us. Thank you so much. Like I said again, the program is brought to you in partnership with the Migrant Resource Center in Lagos, from the Federal Ministry of Labor and Employment. Just right there, the Ikoyi Passport Office. Before you go in, the signboard is right there, Bogo signboard. A lot of people just keep strolling, like I keep saying, keep going straight to passport. They need to go to the office and get information. So much information. And then when you have right information, you will not fall victim of all the other quacks and all the people that are out there trying to exploit the system. Believe me, guys, and this thing I've just showed you right now, there's the very painful version where you lose money. You don't want to do that. You don't want to. In fact, if I have my, I'll just say, before you do, anybody listen to this, before you do anything, is get across, first of all, to WIMO Consult. we will tell you the truth. Of course, you know that we have the Migrant Resource Center on our neck as well. So you guys have to manage what you say and all that. So we'll tell you the truth. I'm not going to tell you any lie. And the truth about it, at the end of the day, you have, of course, everything is a free version of the whole process. No, not free version of the process. You have to pay for all the requirements, all of those, and you don't have to pay for any middleman to do anything. But there's also the paid version if you get an agent to do it for you. Now, a job, you can apply for the job yourself. I've said that in the last week episode. You can apply for the job directly yourself, and that is super encouraged. Oh my goodness, you have never heard it this strong. Super encouraged. In fact, that's option 1 to option Z. Excuse me. Option 1 to option Z. Do it yourself. How do you do that? I said it before. Get on LinkedIn. It's right there in last episode. In the next 2 Sundays from now, next Sunday we're going to be talking about project management and data analysis. We're going to give you some lowdown about that because of the perception that we're having. I will talk about it next Sunday. There's so many things happening out there, right there outside of this country right now. A lot of people who are there, a lot of issues you are trying to struggle through. But if you can be equipped before you leave here, and that's what we call the stopper. If you can be equipped before you leave here, if you have to, then you're already sorted before you get there, and you're not going to into a lot of issues that should not have been warranted. So we're going to talk about that. And of course, upper Sunday, we're talking about LinkedIn. A lot of now is the time to embrace a platform like LinkedIn. Now is the time LinkedIn must be your personal friend. There was a time when it's always Facebook and Instagram, all of those, but where you're going to right now, it's more important to be on LinkedIn than to be on those other platforms. So we're going to talk about how to set up a link there to get the jobs you're looking for, how to get interest of company owners, care homes, and all that, and many other industry that you want to also take advantage of using that platform. So please stay tuned with us every Sunday. Just be with us every Sunday. All right. So for us at WIMO Consult, for those of us who might be interested, we have package to train. All right. We have package to train on becoming a carer. If you want to, work and live and work overseas, if you're interested in it, care work will train you to become a carer. Will lead you appropriately. Just all you need to do is get across to us using the number on the screen. Get across to us the number on the screen. So I'm just putting. Okay, I'll get that out shortly. Number on the screen. Just use that, and you'll be able to get access to us. Be able to get access to us at WIMO Consult. WhatsApp only. There's so many questions have already been answered on the platform. So WhatsApp only. We're going to give you an online training. Our trainings are online. We don't do physical because, again, where you're going to is online. If you're not digitally enabled right now, you're going to have a lot of issues when if you get the job. You're going to have a lot of it. So we encourage you, we train you, we'll take you through the process of registration and all of that. And of course, the work experience, we're going to also take you through the work experience as well. You do the experience with us. We have carers, we work in care. We're right there with you while you're doing the work experience. So that you cannot say, I was there today, I did not come yesterday. No, if you're not there, you're not there. And that's the thing, that's the truth about it. The longer you stay at the care home, the more experience you have. At the end of that, you have a reference letter. We also help work on your CV as well to put you in the required format that is required. Of course, we'll talk about immigration. That's what we are also about, immigration and all the career paths that you can take and so on. Of course, I help you suggest how you can get a job. So if you're interested in that as well, please do reach out to us. WhatsApp message alone. I'll be glad to respond to that. Thank you so much. It's been an awesome one. Every question that you have, just write it down in. We'll respond to them subsequently. Join us next week, Sunday, for another great episode. Like I said, we're talking about project management and data analysis. Those two areas of industries are really burning right now. They are really, really burning right now. If you're leaving this country and going abroad, aside from the other things that you're going to do qualification-wise, you must also be qualified to be a project manager. Just put it in your plan. Qualified to be a project manager. And of course, if you now want to do data analysis as well, or become a data analyst, or you already want, fantastic. So you should also learn to do that as well. Thank you so much for the time we spent together today. It's been an awesome one. Wow. It's been an awesome one. I had so much fun. Sharing with us. For those of us who are new, please endeavor to reach out to just watch the other episodes that we have done hitherto, and you start to learn how far we have come. There's so much information out there that you should not be a victim of anything wrong. You should not be, but you must know where to go to get that information. The Migrant Resource Center is one of those places. They will not lead you astray, you guarantee that. So get there, get information, reach out to Women Consults as well. We will also be most available to respond to you. Yeah, details, you can use the email, the WhatsApp, or you go to Facebook, you have us, the Women Consults, just talk to us. Let's see how we can help. Information is very, very important. As many people that have come to us and asked us information, some people have sent letters, some employment letter they received from some company in the UK, some company in, is it UK or UAE or somewhere, sending them letter, you have been appointed for a job and this is what you need to pay. I say, red flag, because all the things that's written there, this is a crazy thing. I mean, I saw one that had the British embassy stamp, United Arab Emirates embassy stamp. They all created on man and then join them together and say you have job where? In the two countries at the same time. You see, some things are really, I'm sorry, some things are really, really hilarious. But please, it's hilarious if you're not a victim. But if you become a victim, it's very, very painful. So please do not become victims. Know what you need to do and do it right so you can get the right result and there's no issues. It's not enough to Japa. What are you going to do there? How do you sustain yourself there? What are you doing here? We've spoken about all of these things in previous episodes. Please spend time to just watch previous episodes. Like us, share it, click on subscribe and click on notifications so that we can be with you again every time we are live. It's been an awesome one. Thank you so much for the time we spent, and I'll see you again next week, Sunday, 5 o'clock. Next week, Sunday, 5 o'clock. Thank you so much for the time. All the very best. Take care. Bye-bye, and happy Easter. Enjoy.